Hey, what's up? It's Tuesday. I'm Jim here for TheRoughCuts, and today I will be reviewing, not a movie actually, a show called The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and specifically this DVD, which is Volume 1, and there was only one DVD put out. There are actually 46 episodes made, but I'm really only reviewing this DVD, which is the first 5 episodes, and is also one of the things my parents got me for Christmas. It's kind of influential now, recently with Adventure Time and Regular Show, and I think other surreal shows like Problem Solvers and Super Mountain Fort Awesome. This kind of surreal, bizarre, kind of almost like stoner humor, but for kids. And I noticed kind of this seemed to start with Cartoon Network with Flapjack. J.G. Quintel was the creative director on Flapjack, but then he went on and created Regular Show, and then Steve Little and Hamilton Ward worked on this, and now they have Adventure Time. And this ended in 2010, unfortunately. It only lasted 2 years, but they made 46 episodes. I'm assuming what they do usually, what Cartoon Network does, from what I've heard from other people who work at Cartoon Network and I've read on the internet, is that they kind of just order a bunch and then split it up into seasons. They did that to the recent Scooby-Doo Mysteries Incorporated, and I think they did that to Problem Solvers. It is a weird show. The way I heard about it originally was my friend Kool-Aid said, hey, there's this cartoon on Cartoon Network called Flapjack. He had a friend who had kids, and she wouldn't let her kids watch it because she thought it was so creepy and weird. And sometimes I think the surrealness of this show really, it's like the stuff of nightmares, you know. But I kind of like that about it, but I can't imagine, I understand when certain parents don't let their kids watch Flapjack, because it is a little strange. Flapjack, who's the main character, is that guy. That's Flapjack. And he hangs out with his adventurer friend, Captain Knuckles, who's that guy right there. And they live in a whale whose mouth is around this thing, and they live on Stormalong Harbor, which is kind of just a pier in the middle of the ocean, and they're always looking for Candy Island, which is an island made out of candy, which is pretty amazing. And they eat candy like it's kind of like they go to a bar, but instead of beer you get candy, and candy is also currency. People really like candy in Flapjack. It's kind of fun how it has this neat adventure feel to it. The guy who created it, Throp Van Orman, he worked as a storyboard artist on Powerpuff Girls, and he was also a storyboard artist on Camp Lazlo and Billy and Mandy, and now he works as a supervising producer and writer on Adventure Time. And has a similar kind of weird feel. I don't think it's as relatable as Adventure Time. It's kind of like a Tintin, Captain Haddock relationship. Flapjack has really low personality. He's like a little kid. He's just not that interesting. But Captain Knuckles is a lot of fun, just like Captain Haddock and Tintin. And he's this hard candy-eating sailor, and they live inside Bubby, who's a whale. They sleep in her mouth, like on her tongue. He combines some Spumco with Fleischer, because this one character, Candy Wife, who's the guy who runs the bar where they eat candy, he has a wife made of candy. And she reminds me of kind of when Fleischer would combine live action and animation. A little bit of UPA because of the way they can use the backgrounds that are hand painted. I like that feel to it. It has kind of this interesting, like somewhat live action stop motion vibe to it. The theme song is stop motion. It gets a little stranger than Ren and Stimpy, and it'll have bizarre plot twists, much like Adventure Time and Regular Show like that. Regular Show more so. I like how dark and kind of scummy and grummy it looks. You know, I like that vibe to it, which isn't very, you know, kid friendly. I think this isn't a very kid friendly kids cartoon show, even though I guess it was on Cartoon Network, and they're kind of, I mean, if you look at this, it looks like a Wii game, man. It's all white. They market this to kids, but the voice of Captain Knuckles is Brian Doyle Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother. He's really great as Captain Knuckles. He's done other voices like the Good Family Mike Judge show that didn't last long. I mean, he did J. Jonah Jameson in the 90s Spider-Man as well, but this might be my favorite character he's ever done. I like the idea of this haggard old sailor who hangs out with his young boy in a whale's mouth. You know, that's just like, it's kind of like a fun kid story. It feels like the impossible. It feels silly. I recommend this. It's just the first 5 episodes. My favorite episode on this set here was actually the one, because they have 2 cartoons per episode. And in this one, it's Kid Nichols / The Sweet Life. It's a fun show. I always like cartoons, obviously, if you didn't know that about me already. Got canceled. They're not going to do a volume 2. They're not going to release any more DVDs. They're not even going to do the video game I think they were going to do. I actually think the show improved later. This is just a taste of kind of the beginning of it, but I still think they're really good episodes. I wish they just put out DVDs. I would honestly like to own the third season. I thought the last season was really good, especially the last episode. Alright, so if you have seen The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack and you would like to talk about it, comment below in the comments. Subscribe to The Rough Cuts if you haven't already. Subscribe to my main channel, which is in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and potentially VHX. And follow Earl Barrett Holloway's Tumblr, who does the picture at the beginning and the end of this video. What do you think of Flapjack?